Welcome back to another episode of Yo Quiero Dinero, mi gente. I'm so excited because in today's episode, we're going to be celebrating more real life success stories from the Ultimate Side Hustle Starter Kit. It's my very first course. It is the course that I've packed like all of my grind, hustle, stress, lessons, learnings, tips, etc. that I've picked up along the way in my now 11-year journey into entrepreneurship, which is just crazy. But I think it's the course that I wish I had when I started. When I knew I wanted to do some shit, but I'm like, I don't know what it is. I don't know how this works. How do I actually put myself out there? How do I make some money? How do we deal with taxes? All of these things and more are covered in the program. And so I love doing updates with students who've gone through the program and see what they are up to today. And we have Christine. Give us a little bit of insight. Who are you and what do you do?
Hello, I'm so excited to be here. I just want to add, Janice said the course is packed, and that is an understatement. I still refer back to it to this day. My name is Christine Vega-Perez. I'm a decision making and accountability life coach. I'm an RN, and I created my business, Life's Risk Management, in 2021 after taking this course.
Amazing. Okay. And we're going to dive into all of the behind the scenes, right? Because I think it's very easy for folks who know they want to start a business to start comparing like all the entrepreneurs they see out there. They don't really understand like what have they actually done to get here? And what was it about the course that stood out to you? And what was it about entrepreneurship that enticed you to want to explore it?
I never thought that entrepreneurship was going to be my thing. It wasn't like this long term goal that I had. However, I had a period of time where I was in between jobs and it allowed me to think. And I created an idea about offering what I've taken throughout my time in the healthcare industry and providing it to people to apply to the most riskiest thing of them all, which is your own life. And I had this idea, I felt strongly about it and wasn't sure what to do next. Found Janice, won a consultation session with you, actually. I don't know if you even remember, but it was a
I
quick,
do remember.
like 15-minute thing. And from there, I realized that I could create a business from my intellectual property. So that's why I knew I needed to take the course, because since it wasn't this lifelong dream, I had not been researching it. The course was able to provide me this crash course essentially on all the things I needed to get started.
Amazing. I want to know kind of what those mindset blocks were when you decided you wanted to start a business, right? Because I think the decision is easy relatively, but then executing on that decision is the shit that makes all those feelings come up. And I see you nodding, Christine. So walk me through what that was like.
I mean, because it's ongoing, right? It's not like I figured it out and I passed it and now I'm good to go. Absolutely not. That mindset work is ongoing. But it's honestly one of the greatest joys of entrepreneurship is because I do have to push myself on a regular basis and I have to have that growth mindset and the growth I've seen just personally as I also pursue my business is exciting and I'm proud of myself. And I know this is just the beginning because I always hear the saying, entrepreneurship's the marathon. And so I'm on this marathon, I'm on this journey and grateful for the support that we receive from you from this course and then the other coaches that I invest in.
So you talk about the mindset blocks and the kind of the fear and the anxiety that comes up. What do you think has been the biggest shift that you've experienced, maybe personally, right? Because I always tell people like entrepreneurship is such a big personal development endeavor. Like you learn so much about your triggers, the things that motivate you, the things that make you want to procrastinate. You discover so much stuff about yourself. What's been the most insightful part of this process for you?
I would say the fact that I found the courage to go off script. And I do that in air quotes because I did all the things that from a little girl I knew I was going to do. I knew I wanted to go get my college degree, go get my master's degree, get married, have my kids, buy my home. And I was checking all that off. And I know your story and you know how you did the same. And you get to a point, I know, you get to the point and you're like, so is that it though? And to have the courage to say, no, that's not it. You get to do more and to give myself that permission and to recognize that everything that I've done is just in support of this. It's not like I'm wasting anything. I feel like that could be looked at as well. Well, you've done all these things, you've invested so much into this path. How could you just throw that all away? That's not at all what we do, though. We're embracing what we've done to get to where we're going. And that was a big shift. And I felt like it took a long time, and it took, again, the support and the growth mindset work to embrace that courage and find that courage, I guess, to take the steps.
Yeah, I really love that perspective because I think there's a lot of pressure to like have everything figured out, right? When you turn 18, you got to know what you're going to do for the rest of your life. And I think that's such an antiquated way of thinking because we as humans do not stay the same. You know, like you evolve as a person, the things you're exposed to, the ideas, the things you listen to, the books you read, like all of that stuff starts to shift how you think, what you value, how you see the world. And so for us to think that we're meant to just have this singular identity in a career, I think it's stupid. It's just so fucking unrealistic. And so the fact that you gave yourself permission to say, you know what, this season of my life served this purpose. I'm ready to like add to that, to change that, to evolve. I think that takes a lot of, like you said, unlearning and a certain sense of courage because not only do you have to give yourself permission, but you have to be okay with the pushback that may come from the people around you who are so locked into your current identity that they can't even fathom you deciding that this shit's not the thing you want to do anymore. Have you had any like pushback or kind of questions from your circle where they're just like, well, what the hell are you doing, Christine? Like, why are you doing this?
I think there's been maybe some questions, but I wouldn't consider it pushback. I've been very fortunate that I have a huge, when I mention the support, it includes my husband, my parents, my extended family. They are really big supporters and they believe in me. And that is so important because there are definitely times where I don't believe in myself, and my husband will really push me up and solidify that, yes, you can. And you achieve anything that you put your mindset to. So why would this be anything different? And I'm grateful for that support.
That is such a key asset that I think is underrated by a lot of people. I can't tell you the amount of folks who have sent me like private messages that are like, I want to do this, but like my partner doesn't get it, or they just don't want me to invest in this. They just don't think it makes sense. And we place so much emphasis on like what their opinion is that we end up giving up our dreams. And it sucks to be in positions like that. So if you're going through that, know that you're not alone, but also know that there for every one person who's going to like quote unquote shit on your dreams, there's going to be 15 to 20 other people who are ready to rally, and you really just have to get intentional about curating an environment and a support system that's going to push you when you feel like giving up.
Absolutely. And you better believe if that support wasn't there, I'd just not include them then. They don't get to share this journey. If there's anybody who's not willing to be your supporter and they're only going to be the naysayer behind you, then that's not, it's not going to benefit you, and you have to just not include them on that journey. That's yours. It's sacred.
Absolutely. Okay, so take us behind the scenes of your actual business. So, what is it that you offer and how did you evolve to getting to that point? Because I know, for a lot of people when they're thinking about entrepreneurship, they think like the first thing is going to be the thing. And that's usually not the case. You got to try a lot of different shit before you figure out what it is that you want to do. Walk us through what that process has been like for you.
So you said evolve, and I think that's exactly it because it's still evolving. My business started as a blog, and that was my idea. That was my creative idea that I had. And from that blog, after speaking with Janice on my consultation call, you gave me the push to say, well, you have something here that you can service people and you can provide to people. So offer your coaching services. And it was the push that I needed to just put it out there. And it started with just one off consultation sessions. Those were getting booked. So I thought, okay, what else can this evolve to? Started offering a group program. That was successful. It was so exciting. And then from there, and this is months into the next year, right? This is a long process. And then I started offering one on one long term coaching packages and loved that as well. Also started a podcast in the meantime. I did have to let the blog go. It just wasn't serving me and it wasn't the route I wanted to go. So With a big break in between, I did pick up the podcast then, and I've been doing that since the end of December of last year. That's what it was. And now I mentioned evolving because I'm about to enter another shift. I've been pretty much just saying that I'm a decision making and accountability life coach open to all, but I've identified that my mission as a nurse and being in the healthcare industry for 15 years or plus, I want to serve specifically healthcare workers who are facing the biggest burnout they've ever faced, who need that additional support, where just competencies on your skill set is no longer cutting it. If we want our healthcare workers to remain in healthcare and to provide the care that we need, they need more support, including a life coach who's going to look out for your mental health space and who's going to help you work on your personal goals, and it's just not provided as readily as it should be. And so that's my next mission and my plan to continue to evolve my business to go that route.
I love that insight, and I love how we can see how you have given yourself permission to experiment, which I think is such a key part of this process, especially in the beginning. You can't marry yourself to the idea that like if you don't get it right the first time that somehow that's a failure. You've learned so much along each step of this journey. You started understanding like who am I attracting? What messaging is resonating? How am I converting sales? What is my target audience? How do I best want to market myself? Like you've been literally able to answer all these questions just by putting yourself out there in these various forms with the blog, with the podcast, with the different coaching offers. And I think people need to understand like that is how you set the foundation. You have to understand that it's going to take a while to figure out how to consistently bring in cash, how to market yourself in a way that converts, how to figure out who your ideal client is, how you got to talk to them, what avenues they want to be spoken through. And it's a journey, it's a process. Like this shit doesn't happen in 2 weeks, despite what social media would have you think.
hmm And I think for full transparency, I just listed off all the things that I have done, right? I was able to do this and I was able to jump to that and that and that. But it's not all success stories by any means. There's a lot of failure in between. There's group programs that didn't sell out, there's workshops that didn't have anybody. There's lots of failures, but those failures are what then push you to reevaluate and really sit with that discomfort and continue to build from there. So it's not just this success story only, it's those downfalls that are not truly downfalls. It's just you learning. And I have to remind myself of that. I say that to the audience, but I remind myself of that every time it happens.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, so let's talk about how you do this while also working. You work full time, correct?
I do, yes.
Okay, so that's another big block that folks have is like, when the hell am I going to find the time, the energy? I'm out here trying to be a mom, a wife, an employee, a family member, all the shit. How do you find balance to pursue your side hustle?
I think it starts with making sure that I'm good with what I need, because I'm not going to be able to keep pouring out if I'm not taking care of my core needs. So I've really, since pretty much starting my business, I've also taken my health more seriously, and I make sure I get movement because I recognize that if I don't move my body, if I don't exercise in some format, I don't have the bandwidth for everything else in life. And so that's going to look like a different factor for each person, but I think it's really just identifying your core needs, whatever they are, and ensuring you're meeting them. And I understand that can be difficult even in itself, but doing it to the best of your ability. And then from there, you get to add and layer on wherever your schedule allows it. So for me, I typically find time in the mornings before starting my 9 to 5, lunch breaks during the day, and then evening if I can. And I do my best to schedule it out, but I'll be honest, I don't always hold to that exact schedule because I do have 2 kids. They're 4 and 6 and demanding, and I work my 9 to 5, and I have a family that I just want to be around and enjoy things too. So it is a balance, and you have to just look within. But I suggest starting with that, meeting your core needs.
Yeah. And I think there's also acknowledgement that you're going to feel some emotions that maybe won't be pleasant, but it shouldn't be the thing that derail you. I hear a lot of moms, especially, dealing with the guilt of taking time away from being with the kids to start this business, to make this extra money. What advice do you have to women who are navigating those emotions?
Yeah, that can be heavy, the mom guilt. And I think the way I work through it, because again, it's not like a quick fix and you solve it, but every time it does arise, I evaluate what am I doing and am I doing it for the betterment of my family? Because if I can answer yes, honestly, then let that guilt go because your kids are seeing you build something that you're passionate about, that you care about. Don't you want them to have that same kind of work ethic and belief when they're at the point that they're looking at investing their time and energy into something they care about? So it just, and it comes up again and again. You have to tell yourself that over and over, but that's what I try to do.
I love it. It's about setting the example and giving your kids the bird's eye view of like, this is what it looks like to pursue your dreams. I think you're being an incredible example to them when you show them how important it is for you to pour into yourself and to also like feed your creativity, your passions. I think they'll see that and want to also replicate that in their own lives.
One other thing I would add is when you do fill your core needs, go after things you're passionate about, you're going to be a fuller, happier person. So the time spent with those kids, you're not going to be burnt out, exhausted, and thinking about other things. You'll have the bandwidth to actually be in the moment with your kids, absorbing their smiles and their laughs. And when you get to that point, then those times together are more meaningful and impactful and really filling your cup because you could be with them and not at other places, but if you're not present, it's still not going to fill that cup.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about how to get over the fear of investing in yourself. So you made the choice to invest in coaching. A lot of people have this anxiety about making those investments because they want this quote unquote guaranteed return on success on the investment. What advice do you have for folks? Because, the reality of it is that when you invest in a coaching program, your coach is not going to do the work for you. Think about the analogy of a coach for a sports team. They're not playing the game. They're going to tell you how you should play the game based on your skill set, but it's up to you to show up on the field and give it your all. So, give us your best advice for folks who have anxiety around making that investment.
Yeah. I mean, I had anxiety around making even that first investment. I definitely do. And I currently do each time I make the decision. It doesn't necessarily get easier, but I think it's a matter of reflecting on why you're doing it. And if it's something, if you can find an ounce of belief in yourself, then do it. Invest in yourself because there's a reason why this is on your mind. And we don't achieve all the other things without support. We don't achieve our 9 to 5 without the support of our university or college that we went ahead and invested way more in. We don't achieve hobbies and goals without some time invested in, just like you mentioned, the coaches. It requires support and investment. Everything does. So, why is this any different? And why do you deserve any less? I don't deserve any less. This is something that I want. This is something that I believe I'm capable of. So why wouldn't I invest in myself? And but again, it's a constant discussion that I have with myself. I understand the anxiety around it, but I think it's important that we place ourselves on a higher pedestal than we usually do because we're usually putting ourselves last.
Yeah, I think that's so true. And I think when you have skin in the game, like you play at a different level too. It's one thing to say, like, oh, I'm going to go listen to a podcast or watch a YouTube video. That's usually not going to be enough motivation for you to start taking action. You're going to want to have something invested. Like there's something that you have done, whether that's signing up for a program, a course, working with a coach. You just hold yourself to a different level of accountability because you're literally making a financial bet on your success. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Because it is serious, right? Our finances, our money, those are important pieces. We work hard for what we have. So if you're willing to then put it out there, then you're going to make sure that you're getting your biggest bang for the buck, right? And I'm not going to slack off with my coach when I've invested in that person. I want to make sure I'm being focused and ready to go and getting every little thing that I can out of it. And I definitely think that has a big impact. If it was free, you wouldn't even show up.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. All right, let's talk about the financial aspect of starting a business, right? Because I am the coach that will tell you to start a business while you're working a 9 to 5 because your 9 to 5 is your angel investor. This is where the money's going to come from for you to start signing up for coaching programs, sign up for that course, get equipment, software, whatever it is that you need to start your business. How do you set aside money financially for investing in your business? What does that look like?
So I keep just almost an accounting log spreadsheet of money that's going out, money coming in. And at the beginning of the years, when I usually allocate what kind of investment I want to do, it typically is more in the form of the area that I want to improve upon. So if it's a specific type of coach or specific type of program. And then we just make sure, and I say we because I do chat with my husband about it. We put our goals out there in the beginning so he's fully aware, he's not getting blindsided, and making sure that I look at what can be allocated for the year and then apply it throughout. But absolutely, my 9 to 5 is what is financing it. I did not quit my job and go into this full time because I wanted to have some kind of security to lean on as I pursue this business while also having a home and kids and all. So it is my 9 to 5 that finances it. It's just a matter of planning and allocating the money.
hmm I love that approach. It's about being intentional and just making sure that you're, again, not pouring from an empty cup and not putting yourself last. Like you're also making a conscious decision to make your dreams and your goals as important as everybody else's, which I absolutely love to see. Okay. So I know that in the journey of entrepreneurship, it can be lonely, and this is the power of community. This is why it's so important for you to get in a cohort, get in a circle of people who are also doing this. Can you talk about how the community in the Ultimate Side Hustle Starter Kit impacted you in your journey?
That community was amazing. I'm still connected with other people that I met through that course. I had clients from that course. I have friends from that course. I still speak to people from that course. It was what, 2021, and we're in 2024, and I still talk to those women. And it's amazing. It's beautiful to be able to have somebody who understands. Because although I mentioned earlier my support system, they cheer me on, they don't get it. They don't actually, they don't understand. They're great, but they don't understand what it all entails. So I have other people that I can lean on for that, who completely understand, who can hold you accountable, who can give you good ideas, who can tell you, yeah, this is a hard part, but it'll get better. So, yeah, it's amazing.
I love it. And the fact that you get access to the community group, regardless of when you joined and its lifetime, I think is so brilliant because I see people coming in there all the time, like asking questions. I need a CPA. Does anybody have a recommendation? Or I need an attorney, blah, blah, blah. So it's not like you join the program and you have a limited amount of access for a limited amount of time. You have access to the program for life. You have access to the community for life and any future updates that come into the course because obviously the world of entrepreneurship is forever changing. Now we're talking about things like AI and et cetera. And so you know that you will have access to that material and anything new that comes forever. It's an easy to see why you should join something like this. So, Christine, I would love to know for folks who are kind of on the fence, right? They know they want to invest in something. They're not sure if they're ready for like a big high ticket offer where they're working with a coach for a year, but maybe they want a starter program that's going to help them set the foundation. What would you say about the Ultimate Side Hustle Starter Kit and why you would recommend it?
So, as you're beginning to learn, the beauty of the Ultimate Side Hustle Starter Kit is that it's all right there. Janice has put the time and dedication into gathering so many resources right at your fingertips, and then also organized it to take it in a way that makes sense, to go through a process that would make sense if you're just starting off. So, I think that alone is so worth the investment. But then, as I mentioned earlier, you can go back to it, you can refer back to it, you can utilize those resources over and over because as you grow in your business and you're not in the beginning stages anymore, some of those resources are going to be more helpful down the road. just like the group as well. When you go in there asking questions, it's not just the other members of the group. Janice is also responding to you. I put a question in there just a couple of months ago, I think, when I was about to go to an event and I needed some help. Janice responded to me. I mean, to have that kind of access, I say Janice like you're not right in front of me, but it's just amazing because you're that knowledgeable, and to be able to have that kind of access and support ongoing years to come, I would have done it 10 times over.
I love it. I'm so glad. And I'm glad that you mentioned kind of the ability to go back into the program, because I think when folks see the name, they think it's just for like newbie entrepreneurs. But the program itself is literally from, I don't know what the hell I want to do, help me figure out my idea, to I'm ready to quit my job. What do I need to be doing? We talk about everything from like setting up your financial foundation, retirement, health insurance, right? Like all of those things that keep you from making that leap. We're going to take you through the journey from idea to launch, to quitting your job, taking this full time and beyond. And so if this is something that you're considering doing, I think now more than ever, we understand like how important it is to also be able to monetize your skills outside of a 9 to 5, because we're dealing with so many layoffs. Folks have come to realize that even those stable ass careers that they told us to pursue are not so stable. And so the more that you can create a financial ecosystem where you can make money on your own, you don't have to be beholden to a job, I think it really puts you in a powerful place financially, that even if this is something that you do on the side, like knowing that you have a way of making money, I think you show up differently at work. You realize, you know what? I'm here because I want to be, not because I got to tolerate some bullshit. Because I know that at the end of the day, all I got to do is start putting out some more client emails, start asking for some referrals, and I'm going to go make my own money and I don't have to deal with the bullshit over here. So if you want to feel more empowered just financially, I think everybody should start a side hustle, because you really do move a different way in the world when you can be your own money printer.
It's so true. It gives you the ganas to go out into the world in a different way. And I love it. And I think the fact that this wasn't on my radar and now what you've brought to the table for me, it's truly life changing. And that's what this course can help you do as well, is just get it started, recognize things that you would have never been able to think about or even dreamt that was possible. So having that supporter, somebody who's done it as well, I think just seeing you, and you are continuing to be that inspiration. I mean, the book that I see in the background, it's just, it doesn't end. You just keep helping us want to reach further. And I'm so forever grateful.
Oh, thank you so much. Christine, I'm really grateful for your time, for sharing your experience in the program, for sharing all the gems. I want folks to find out more about you, how you work with clients. Tell us where we can find you, how you serve your clients, and anything else that you want to share with us.
Absolutely. So definitely come find me on IG, lifecoach.christine. You can head to my website, lifesriskmanagement.com. Find me on my podcast. It's the But Are You Happy podcast, releases every week. All those areas, I'd love to chat with you. I serve my clients, like I mentioned, one-on-one in a coaching package, but find me soon at a healthcare facility near you in the upcoming months.
Amazing. We're going to put all those links in the episode show notes so you can learn more about Christine. Thank you so much for trusting in me. But most of all, thank you so much for investing in yourself. There is something magical that happens when you decide that your dreams are worth it and you take the plunge to pursue them. And I think you're a shining example of what that looks like. So I'm wishing you so much continued success, and know that you have a forever cheerleader on this side of the mic.
Thank you. So good talking to you, Denise.
Thank you so much.